When we speak about the Union Army and the role that Rufus Ingalls played as quartermaster, one of the things that you have to keep in mind is that the Union Army wasn't federalized. It wasn't all cohesive, answering to the federal government, with the federal government paying all the bills, until after the Battle of Gettysburg. Up to then, the northern states were responsible for providing the wherewithal for their soldiers, their citizens, to fight. And in Maine, John Hodgson, who served as the adjutant general, oversaw the quartermaster work of the state of Maine. And one of the interesting figures in all of that was a guy by the name of E.K. Harding, Edward Kelleran Harding, out of Brunswick. And E.K. Harding, before the war, had actually been living in Louisiana. He married the daughter of Union General John McClellan, and it was she who encouraged him to return to Maine. And he was responsible, for example, of selling granite cobblestones to the city of New Orleans to help on their waterfront. And he knew people up and down the coast where he would supply, and he would make purchases and he would make sales, and he was good at what they call foraging. So he returns to Maine, and not only does he run a shipping company, he runs a shipbuilding company, he runs an ice company, he has multiple businesses active simultaneously. But before the war, he also had one of the militia companies that was still active. Their activity, however, had very little to do with defending the state of Maine. They were Harding's Zouaves. And what happened was, in the North, a lot of the guys who had money and wanted to have a patriotic fervor for the 4th of July and Independence Day, they, in effect, would buy a militia company by outfitting it with extraordinary costumes. And so he formed a militia company in Bath, in Brunswick, and it was the Harding Zouaves, and they're the Bath City Greys. And they were outfitted in swallowtail coats of, as it would happen, Confederate gray, with specially made gold buttons, special white belts with a specially made belt buckle, special hats. And these guys particularly would get together and they would do close order drill. They would march. But what they were marching for was to be prepared for the 4th of July parades. And they would be like the drum and bugle corps that we'd see later on. They would compete with other militia companies from other states for the most outstanding units. And they were compared to the Boston Tigers. I mean, if you compared to the Boston Tigers, you were really something. But it was E.K. Harding who supplied the money for it. He provided the impetus. And when the war broke out, the Bath City Greys became part of the fighting force from the state of Maine.
Thanks for watching. And don't miss a single episode as we delve into the fascinating history of Maine's role in the Civil War. Please like and subscribe now.